boring neurons that fire just enough sparks to carry you into sleep without waking them into night. Inside your skull, billions of neurons whisper in soft electric pulses. They do not shout. They do not burn. They flicker like quiet stars, enough to guide you through the edge of waking and into the sea of dreams. Your brain does not need to go dark to rest. It simply needs to shift from motion to stillness, from thought to silence, from spark to glow. And so tonight you follow the tiny fires of your own mind, not to awaken, but to gently fall away. Asterisk, somewhere in the soft architecture of your brain, a spark is waiting. It isn't bright, it isn't loud, it won't wake you, but it is there, suspended in the space between two neurons, like a match about to strike. This is how every thought begins, not with a word or an idea, but with a charge, a tiny difference in voltage, a shift in ions, a nudge in the chemistry of stillness. And it is this small, whispering signal that starts the long, slow drift from the waking world toward the shore of sleep. Your neurons are quiet now, but not silent. Even in rest, your brain hums gently. It listens, it regulates, it remembers how to breathe, how to beat the heart, how to cool the body as the night deepens. This background murmur of the nervous system never stops it, only softens, slows. Neurons, those delicate, branching cells, begin to fall into rhythm. Their spikes of electrical activity, called action potentials, become less frequent, less urgent, but they do not vanish. Sleep is not the absence of firing. It is the shift to another frequency. Each neuron holds a tiny balance of ions across its membrane, sodium outside, potassium inside. This delicate distribution is maintained by pumps, always working, always cycling. And when the time comes, when a signal must travel, a sudden opening of ion channels allows those charges to flow. The inside becomes more positive, the signal travels, and another neuron is touched. This is how thought moves, not in leaps, but in links. As your eyelids grow heavier, these links begin to favor slowness. Instead of rapid sequences of waking thoughts, your brain starts to wander. Connections become dreamlike. Linear paths give way to drifting images, unexpected associations. This is your brain releasing its grip, allowing the sparks to play instead of race. You begin to feel that lightness, that slight floating, as if your mind is both inside your skull and beyond it. That is the neurons adjusting their pattern. And all of this happens with no noise, no effort. Your neurons are not working harder, they are working differently. The electrical patterns in your cortex begin to synchronize. Slow waves emerge, rolling across the brain like tides. This is slow wave sleep approaching, the first deep stage of rest. And those gentle waves come not from inactivity, but from harmony. Your neurons, shaped like trees, have thousands of branches. Each one touches others at synapses, where chemicals called neurotransmitters carry the signal from one cell to the next. Even now, neurotransmitters like GABA are increasing in your system, calming activity, reducing the chance that a random spark becomes a full thought. These molecules are like soft hands on your shoulders, telling your brain it's time to let go, and it listens, because your brain remembers how to sleep. It's a built-in rhythm, not something you have to invent. These patterns have existed since you were in the womb cycles of wakefulness and sleep, driven by shifts in light, temperature, and chemical messengers. Your circadian clock is ticking softly now, releasing melatonin, opening the gates of drowsiness, guiding you deeper into stillness. You might feel your limbs grow heavier. That's not just fatigue, it's motor neurons slowing down. Your body is entering a state of atonia, a natural paralysis that prevents you from acting out your dreams. It's a safety system built by billions of years of evolution, and it is working now with precision, with care, and all of it, from the softening of your thoughts to the sinking of your muscles, is made possible by neurons. Billions of them, each one flickering just enough to pass the message and then resting. They do not clamor for your attention. They are not trying to keep you awake. They are leading you gently, one spark at a time, into the folds of rest. So now, let them lead. Let your brain slip into rhythm. Let the sparks continue without your help. They will carry you where you need to go. You are held by thought that no longer needs thinking. You are lit by fire that no longer burns. You are on the edge of dreaming, and now you sleep. Sleep is not one space. It is not a single room you enter, close the door, and fade away. It is a house with many quiet chambers, a place your mind returns to each night, moving softly from hallway to hallway, some familiar, some hidden behind veils of thought and memory. As you drift deeper into rest, your brain begins to move through this house, one room at a time, shifting rhythms, unlocking doors, and settling into layers of unconsciousness shaped not by dreams alone, but by structure. There is architecture, here patterns, and tonight your neurons are walking you through it gently. You begin in the foyer of light sleep, the first chamber where the brain loosens its grip on the external world. You're still aware of your body here, still tethered lightly to the sounds around you, but your thoughts have begun to untie themselves. This is stage one, sleep, short, fragile, a threshold more than a destination. Your brain waves slow, your eyes may flicker beneath their lids, and the muscles of your face begin to let go. You're stepping inside, but the door to waking is still ajar. Then comes stage two. The door closes gently. You're deeper now. Sensory input begins to dim. Your body temperature drops. In your brain, something beautiful is happening. Bursts of electrical activity called sleep spindle short. Rhythmic pulses that sweep across the cortex like gentle tides. These spindles are thought to protect sleep, to shield the brain from sudden noise or movement, to build walls of quiet around your consciousness. Alongside them, K-complexes flash large, slow waves that may help consolidate memory, or simply signal the transition deeper into the house. You don't feel these things happening. You don't have to. The architecture is already there, and your mind knows how to move through it. Even as your breathing slows and your muscles grow still, your neurons are working not loudly, not with pressure, but with a kind of careful choreography. They are preparing the deeper rooms of rest. Then, slowly, the floor beneath you shifts, and you fall into stage three. Slow wave sleep. This is the heart of the house, the quietest chamber, the room where your body restores itself. Here, your brain. Waves are long and slow delta waves, rolling through the cortex like a low tide under a moonless sky. You are not dreaming here. You are not even aware. But your brain is not empty. It is healing. Growth hormone is released. Tissues are repaired. The immune system is fortified. Synapses, those tiny connections between neurons, are trimmed and reshaped, allowing for clarity, for balance, for the softening of mental clutter. This is deep rest, the kind that leaves no impression until you wake and feel the quietness it left behind. And yet, beyond even this room, there is one more chamber. REM sleep. The innermost door. The dream room. Unlike the others, REM is active. Your brain lights up again, almost as it does when you're awake, but the signals loop inward. You dream. Your eyes move beneath their lids. Your body remains still, protected by the graceful paralysis of REM, but your mind dances through images and stories, processing emotion, weaving memory, exploring ideas it never knew it had. REM sleep often arrives in cycles, growing longer toward morning. You might move from stage 2 to deep sleep, then into REM, then back again, walking familiar routes through the house. Each cycle is a tour through recovery, and your neurons guide the path. They open the doors, they light the lamps, they close what must be closed. And what's most astonishing is that all of this structure, the stages, the patterns, the rhythms exists without your effort. You don't need to think your way into it. Your brain was built for this. The architecture is ancient, shared across mammals, birds, even some reptiles. It is a house evolution built and handed to you, saying, "Here, come in, lie down, let yourself be rebuilt. So now, let yourself be led. Let the spindle waves carry you. Let the delta rhythms hold you. Let the doors to REM crack open when it's time." Your neurons are your guides tonight, and they know the way. You do not have to understand every room. You only have to walk through them slowly and sleep. You are not alone in your mind. You are accompanied by messengers, tiny, tireless, invisible travelers that move from neuron to neuron, carrying signals in silence, weaving meaning and mood into your every breath. These messengers are called neurotransmitters, and they are not just chemicals, they are emotion, movement, thought, and memory in molecular form. And tonight, they are here for one reason only: to help you let go. Letting go is not a decision you make with your conscious thoughts. It's not a matter of will. It's a process, an elegant cascade that happens in the background, while you lie still and the day begins to melt from your skin. Your brain starts to change its chemistry. Certain neurotransmitters fade, others rise. Their balance shifts like sunlight turning to twilight, almost imperceptibly at first, then all at once. The first to rise is GAB, a gamma-aminobutyric acid. It's the brain's main inhibitory neurotransmitter. You can think of it as the hand that gently presses pause on your neurons. GAB doesn't silence your brain, it softens it. It tells the chatter to quiet down. It reduces excitability. It tells your muscles to stop twitching. It dims the lights in the corridors of your thoughts. It is not dramatic. It is kind. Next, melatonin enters the scene. Produced by the pineal gland in response to darkness, melatonin is not a sleep inducer, but a signaler. It tells your brain, the world is dim now. You can release the day. It lowers your body temperature slightly. It encourages GABA to do its work. It marks the beginning of the chemical journey inward. The sleep gates open just a little wider, but your brain doesn't work with one chemical alone. It is an orchestra. As melatonin rises, serotonin begins to shift. Known as the neurotransmitter of mood and balance, serotonin is also deeply involved in sleep. It helps regulate the transition between wakefulness and rest. It ensures that the body relaxes gradually, not suddenly, so that nothing feels jarring. Even your heartbeat slows in its presence. Deeper into the night, acetylcholine returns, not to keep you awake, but to spark dreams. During REM sleep, acetylcholine becomes active again, reintroducing energy to your brain's cortex. not to plan or act, but to imagine. This balance of inhibition and activation is what allows dreams to unfold, vivid, strange, emotionally rich, and often forgotten. You are paralyzed and alive at once, guided by molecules who know the way. As you lie there, these chemicals swirl through the synapses. Some are produced within the brain, others are carried in by the bloodstream. Each one finds its receptor, like a key fitting into a lock. A gentle click, a neuron fires, a message is received, and just as quietly it fades, ready to be reused or broken down. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is rushed. What you're experiencing now, the heavy eyelids, the quiet mind, the slow breath, is not the absence of thought. It is a different state, a different chemistry. Your consciousness is not shutting off. It is being recalibrated. The busy molecules of the didopamine, norepinephrine, histamine have stepped back. The nighttime chemicals have taken the stage. Let this reassure you. Sleep is not something you chase. It is something that arrives when the chemistry is right, and your body already knows how to create that balance. It has done so since before you had memory. It will continue to do so even when you're not aware of it. There is no switch you need to flip. There is no pressure. There is only the quiet work of molecules that care for you in silence. So, as GABA settles the noise, as melatonin leads you deeper, as serotonin levels find their perfect balance, and as acetylcholine stirs the fog of dreams, trust in them. These messengers are ancient. They are not confused. They are not uncertain. They know how to carry you from wakefulness into rest, and from rest into dreams. All you have to do is allow them to work. Let the chemistry unfold. Let the body follow. Let go and sleep. Asterisk, you lie still now. The air is quiet. Your muscles no longer carry the weight of the day, and your thoughts have softened into slow, drifting echoes. But deep within the folds of your brain, something remarkable is happening. While you rest, a hidden system awakens not to stir you, but to care for you. This is the night watch, a fluid, silent, essential tide that rises in your brain only. When you sleep, its task is not to think, not to remember, but to cleanse. Your brain, like any busy city, produces waste, proteins that have served their purpose, molecules that drift aimlessly, byproducts of constant electrical activity. During the day, these fragments accumulate quietly, invisibly between the cells. But your brain cannot stop to clean itself while you're awake. It must stay alert, ready to respond, to react, to think. So it waits. It waits until you let go, and then it begins. This is the work of the glymphatic system, a cleaning network named for its similarity to the lymphatic system that operates in the rest of the body. But unlike the lymphatic system, which removes waste through a system of vessels, the glymphatic system relies on cerebrospinal fluid, the clear liquid that cushions your brain and spinal cord. When you sleep, that fluid begins to move. Slowly, gently, it is pumped through the brain's tissue like a tide washing over a shore, and as it flows, it clears away what your waking mind left behind. Proteins like beta amyloid, which in excess have been linked to diseases like Alzheimer's, are flushed out during this time. So too are excess ions, metabolic waste, and other microscopic debris. The space between your brain cells literally expands during sleep up to 60%. More room allowing the fluid to pass through more easily, to reach places it cannot access while you are awake. This expansion is temporary. It is built into the architecture of rest. It is your brain opening its windows to let the night air in. The process is most active during deep sleep, particularly during slow-wave sleep, when your neural activity is synchronized, calm, and rhythmic. This is when the cleaning crew steps forward, the neurons are quieter, the gates are open, and the flow begins. It is not fast, but it is thorough. And every night you give yourself to sleep, this quiet tide returns. Think of it like a forest after rain. The dust settles, the air is cleared, the noise quiets. What was tangled becomes open again, even your brain's glial cells. The caretakers and protectors of neurons participate in this. In fact, the word glymphatic comes from these glial cells, which guide and regulate the flow of cleansing fluid. These cells do not fire like neurons. They do not carry thoughts or memories, but they hold the brain in place. They keep it safe. They know how to tend to it when it is most vulnerable, when it sleeps. And so now, as you sink deeper into rest, your brain is not idle. It is in service to itself, not with tension, but with rhythm, with grace, with flow. This cleansing is not only physical, it may also be emotional. Studies suggest that REM sleep helps the brain reorganize emotional memories, separating the facts of experience from the sting of reaction. In this way, your brain is not just sweeping away debris, it is smoothing the edges of memory, softening the sharpness of the day, letting go of what it no longer needs. You don't have to direct this. You don't even have to understand it. It happens when you allow it to happen. It begins when you release, when you give up the effort to stay alert, when you trust the quiet machinery that has always known how to restore you. So tonight, let the tide come in. Let the glial cells move like soft hands. Let the fluid pass gently between the neurons, sweeping, washing, healing. You are being cared for, cell by cell, molecule by molecule. The house of your mind is being cleaned while you rest in one of its deepest rooms. There is nothing to hold, nothing to carry, nothing to remember, only this quiet current, lapping at the shores of your consciousness, guiding you deeper into stillness. The watch has begun. The night is doing its work, and now, so can you sleep. There comes a moment in the night, often without warning, when your brain stirs quietly under the stillness of your sleeping body. The muscles lie calm, breathing remains slow, and yet behind your closed eyelids, a strange world begins to build. Itself, you are not awake, but you are not lost. You are not moving, but you are traveling. You have entered the realm of dreams, the brain's gentle, boundless way of wandering when the world outside no longer holds its shape. This stage of sleep, called REM rapid eye movement, is the most vivid phase for dreaming. It is unlike the deep, slow tides of earlier stages. During REM, your brain becomes highly active again. Regions associated with emotion, memory, and visual imagery light up with silent electricity. It's as if the world inside your head awakens while your body remains in peaceful suspension. Your eyes flicker behind your lids. Your heart rate subtly rises. Your breath changes its pattern, mimicking the rhythm of imagined movement. And yet, you stay perfectly still, held, wrapped in safety, kept from acting out the images that dance. Behind your mind's curtain, dreams are not random. They are not chaotic bursts of nonsense. They are the way your brain replays, reorganizes, and reinterprets what it has lived through. Experiences from the day are reshaped into stories. Emotions are sorted, soothed, or sometimes relived. Sensory impressions from the waking world are woven into metaphor. A hallway becomes a mountain. A voice becomes wind. A worry becomes a riddle, solvable not with logic, but with patience. You don't control these stories, then that is the beauty of it. Dreaming is one of the few times your mind is free from consequence. In dreams, you are not bound by gravity or time or identity. You can fly. You can speak with those long gone. You can turn a corner and find the ocean inside a library, all without ever leaving your bed. These imagined experiences are built from real neural activity, using the same machinery that processes waking perception. The only difference is the direction of the signal. In waking life, information flows inward from the senses. In dreams, it flows outward from the self. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for judgment and logic, becomes quiet in REM sleep. That's why dreams rarely make linear sense. But other areas like the amygdala, which governs emotion, become active, which is why dreams often feel powerful, moving, or strange. Your brain is rehearsing without rehearsing, healing without trying, creating without needing to explain. Even the strange feeling of being in a dream, yet watching it unfold, is part of this quiet genius. The brain blends first-person experience with detached observation. You float through scenes. You forget and remember at the same time. You are yourself, and also something else. There is no pressure in this space, no test to pass, no conclusion to reach, only exploration, only drifting. Scientists believe REM sleep plays a role in emotional regulation and problem solving. People deprived of REM often feel irritable, forgetful, or less creative. It seems the mind requires dreaming not just for fun, but for balance, to clear out the emotional fog, to connect scattered ideas, to allow healing to become story. And stories, even when strange, bring a kind of quiet coherence. Sometimes you may remember your dreams, at least briefly, upon waking. Other times they dissolve the moment your eyes open, like mist burning off in the sun. But whether you recall them or not, they are there, they are happening. Every night your brain opens this quiet theater, rehearsing for life by imagining impossible things, so let it wander. Let your mind build castles out of echoes. Let it speak in riddles only your sleeping self understands. You do not need to shape the dream. It is enough to be inside it. You are safe here. The body is at rest. The muscles are held. The circuits are calm. And the mind is unbound. Let yourself move without moving. Feel the rhythm of images flowing past you. Let the colors rise. The sounds melt. The stories unfold like clouds rearranging in the sky. You are dreaming now, and in dreaming, you are healing. The journey has no path, and that is the path. Sleep deeper. The story continues. Whether or not you remember it, you are wandering, gently, and the dream will carry you. Asterisk somewhere in the deep interior of your brain, a slow brightness begins to stir. It's not sunlight yet, not even dawn, but a soft internal shift, like the moment just before a symphony begins to rise, when silence is no longer empty, but full of potential. Your body remains still, breathing slow and steady, but the orchestration of waking is already quietly beginning. This is the reset, the transition, the gentle unraveling of sleep, and your brain, without force or alarm, begins the work of returning you to the light. You are not jolted from rest. The process is gradual, cellular, designed with care. Deep within your hypothalamus, your circadian clock, your nucleus has been keeping time in the dark. It doesn't wait for the sun to reach your skin. It senses patterns through rhythm, through hormones, through the chemistry of change. And now, as your body drifts closer to morning, it begins to shift its balance. Melatonin levels begin to fall. That gentle signal, which once invited drowsiness, quietly retreats. In its place, cortisol, misunderstood, but essential, begins to rise slowly. Not as a stress signal here, but as a call to alertness, to readiness. This rise doesn't shock you, it primes you. It prepares the cells to wake without abruptness. Your body temperature increases slightly. Your metabolism begins to stir. And somewhere deep within the neural folds, the chemistry of consciousness begins to reassemble. You remain at rest for now, but the reticular activating system, a network of neurons running through your brainstem, is beginning to gently light the circuits of awareness. It's like the city of your mind turning its streetlights back on one by one, without noise, without crowd. The fog is lifting, but you are still floating in it. There is time. The balance of neurotransmitters begins to shift as well. Serotonin rises, contributing to a sense of clarity. Norepinephrine begins to emerge, supporting attention and response. The gentle hum of acetylcholine reorganizes itself from dreams into perception. These messengers, once cloaked in sleep, now guide the return, not with urgency, but with precision. And throughout this quiet shift, your sleep architecture begins to dissolve. The cycles of REM and deep sleep grow shorter. Your final dreams arrive like soft, receding tides, brighter, more fragmented. They don't end, they simply pass. The body stirs slightly. Muscles regain their tone. The protective stillness of atonia fades, and your motor systems begin to whisper readiness to move. If you were to wake now, you might feel that strange moment of overlap when the last images of the dream world linger just behind your eyes, and the shape of the room begins to form again around you. That moment is not confusion, it's transition. Your brain is merging two worlds gently, the imagined and the real, the internal and the external, the night and the day. Even your glymphatic system, which has spent the night clearing away the molecular dust of waking life, now recedes. The windows it opened between your brain cells begin to close. The cerebrospinal fluid slows its tide. The cleaning crew finishes its rounds, and the pathways begin to tighten again for the work of the day ahead. But waking is not an ending. It is a return, a reassembly of pieces that drifted apart for rest, and now come quietly back into alignment. You are not the same as you were before you slept. You are a little lighter, a little clearer. What was tangled has softened. What was scattered has begun to gather. This is the brilliance of sleep, is not simply escape. It is renewal, and now that renewal is almost complete. You are still lying still, but already the world is reaching you again. Light, even faint, even imagined, touches the pineal gland through the eyes, signal and says, not yet, but soon. And your brain, like a flower sensing spring, begins to open. Let yourself linger in this threshold. Let your thoughts remain soft. Let your breath continue slow. There is no need to rush from one state to another. The body will rise when it's ready. The eyes will open when they must. But for now, know this: your brain has completed its quiet. Restoration, the reset, is done. You are returning, and when you do rise, when you stretch and blink and step into the light, know that you have been deeply, lovingly rebuilt, You slept, and the mind did its work, and now, with no effort at all, you are ready to begin again. You may not remember where you went in your dreams last night, or how the early hours passed. You may not recall the exact moment your body slipped from thought into stillness, or the final shape your mind took before it faded. And yet, while you slept, something extraordinary was happening inside you. Your brain, calm, quiet, unseen, was remembering. Not in the way we often think of memory, as conscious recollection or mental effort, but in a deeper, older way. It was weaving together threads from the day just past, stitching experience into the soft fabric of your long-term self. It was choosing what to keep, what to let go, and what to transform. Memory, after all, is not a storage room. It is not a static vault where events are filed away unchanged. Memory is alive. It breathes. It rearranges itself. And sleep is where much of that rearranging happens. Throughout the day, your brain collects fragments, sensory impressions, emotions, words, glances, patterns. These moments are held, briefly, in short-term memory, particularly in the hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure deep in the brain's center. But the hippocampus is not meant to carry all your memories forever. It is a temporary workspace, like a canvas smeared with fresh paint. And it is during sleep, especially deep sleep and REM, that this canvas is gently wiped clean, and the colors are transferred into the gallery of long-term memory across the cortex. This process is called memory consolidation. It happens in silence, without your awareness. During slow-wave sleep, the hippocampus replays patterns of activity from the day in compressed bursts. These electrical replays travel across the brain, prompting the neocortex to strengthen connections, creating more permanent pathways. The important memories are etched more deeply. The less meaningful ones may fade. This is why sleep, after learning, after reading, practicing, or experiencing something new, often makes the knowledge feel more natural the next day. Your brain is not only remembering the information, it is deciding where to place it, how to connect it, how to make it last. But not all memories are facts or figures. Some are emotional, some are subtle impressions. And during REM sleep, these emotional memories are gently sifted, softened, and sorted. The amygdala, the brain's emotional center, becomes active, not to relive distress, but to release it. The mind, through dreaming, can reprocess fear, joy, sadness, or surprise in new forms, transforming raw feeling into understanding. In this way, REM sleep doesn't just help you remember, it helps you heal. You may wake with no conscious sense of this work. You may not know that a memory was quietly made more stable, that a difficult moment was made less sharp, or that an idea became clearer, but you will feel it, perhaps as a sense of clarity, or lightness, or emotional balance, as if something resolved itself inside you without needing words. Even procedural memories, the kind involved in learning physical skills, like playing an instrument or riding a bike, benefit from sleep. During the night, the brain replays and strengthens these motor patterns, improving performance without practice. Your body learns while resting. Your muscles remember without moving. And in all of this, you don't need to try. You don't need to make effort. You only need to sleep. The act of letting go is the invitation the brain needs to begin its quiet organization. Every night, it returns to the same gentle labor, weaving, reinforcing, discarding, rebuilding. Imagine your memories like strands of thread, gathered during the day, some strong, some fragile, some bright, some nearly invisible. As you drift off, the mind becomes a loom. It selects the strands. It arranges them. It adds some to the growing tapestry of self. Others it tucks into the background, saved for later. And some it lets unravel, turning back into raw thread, ready to be in new forms tomorrow. So now, as you lie here, let yourself become soft again. Let the neurons repeat their quiet patterns. Let the hippocampus whisper to the cortex. Let the feelings you couldn't name reshape themselves in the dark. Your brain remembers for you. It sifts the noise from the meaning. It turns the chaos of experience into the quiet rhythm of understanding. You don't have to hold it all. You are not forgetting. You are simply allowing your brain to remember. In its own way, in its own time. Let it weave. Let it sort. Let it sort. Let it heal and sleep. Asterisk, you may not realize it, but every night when you sleep, your nervous system is busy sculpting itself. Not with noise or sensation or deliberate thought, but in the deep quiet of darkness. It works slowly, invisibly, like a gardener pruning and shaping, removing what is no longer needed, strengthening what must remain. While you lie still, the wires of your being, your nerves, your synapses, your brain's vast, branching network begin to shift. And they do so without permission, without conscious thought, because they've always known how to change. This ability is called neuroplasticity, brain's remarkable capacity to rewire, adapt, and reshape itself throughout your life. It is not fixed. It is not rigid. The neural pathways you use the most grow stronger. Those left unused may fade. But these changes don't happen all at once. They take time, space, and stillness. And the greatest stillness of all is sleep. During the day, your nervous system is busy responding. It takes in signals from your senses, sends instructions to your muscles, adjusts your balance, your heart rate, your breath. It is reactive, fast, flexible, but focused outward. Only in sleep does it truly turn inward. Only in sleep does it begin the deeper work of repair and reconfiguration. In slow-wave sleep, the brain trims its connections. Not all of them, just the ones that have grown noisy, inefficient, or unnecessary. This process, called synaptic downscaling, ensures that the brain doesn't become overloaded by every single stimulus or memory. It is a gentle clearing, a kind of editing, like a sculptor smoothing rough edges from a form that has already taken shape. By pruning weaker synapses, the stronger, more relevant connections shine brighter. And so, with each night, your mind becomes a little more refined. In contrast, during REM sleep, neuroplasticity takes a different turn. This is the phase where new pathways are strengthened, especially those related to creativity, emotion, and complex problem solving. REM is where your nervous system experiments. It reorganizes not just facts, but possibilities. It explores alternate outcomes, unusual connections, fresh perspectives. In this way, the sleeping brain is not passive at all. It is building. The nervous system doesn't limit its rewiring to the brain alone. Throughout the body, peripheral nerves also benefit from rest. Muscles that have been strained begin to heal. Reflex arcs, finely tuned circuits that govern movement and reaction, are subtly adjusted. Signals that once traveled with delay begin to pass more cleanly. Even the autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary functions like heartbeat and digestion, recalibrates during the night. The balance between sympathetic fight or flight and parasympathetic rest and digest shifts toward calm. deepening recovery. What's most humbling is how much of this transformation happens without awareness. You don't feel your synapses trimming themselves. You don't notice neurons reassigning their duties. But each morning, you wake slightly altered. The you that rises is not the same as the one who laid down. You are always in motion, even in stillness, in children and adolescents. This nightly rewiring is even more profound. Their brains are actively mapping, growing, rebalancing, absorbing the newness of the world and turning it into structure. Sleep is where that growth is cemented, where lessons become pathways and experience becomes instinct. But even in adulthood, neuroplasticity does not vanish. The brain remains flexible, learning, changing, unspooling new threads in response to what it has seen and felt. So tonight, as your body gives way to rest, remember, your nervous system is not waiting idly. It is tending to the garden of your being. It is shaping the roots of thought, feeling, and motion. It is quietly building the foundation for tomorrow's clarity, tomorrow's decisions, tomorrow's grace. There is no effort needed from you, no thinking, no trying, just sleep, and let the rewiring happen the way it always has, gently, slowly, like a stream reshaping stone, not with force, but with time. You are changing, and that is not a thing to fear. It is the deepest comfort of all. The system that guides your every move knows how to remake itself in the dark. So rest, let the edits be made. Let the lines be redrawn. Let your body and mind reconnect where they must, and sleep. Even as you sleep, your body never fully disconnects from the world. Though your eyes are closed, your limbs still, and your thoughts deep beneath the surface, your senses continue to listen quietly, distantly, with a softened awareness. You are not cut off. You are cocooned, wrapped in a gentler layer of perception where sound, light, and touch no longer shout, but whisper. They no longer demand response, but they are still there, still shaping your experience. Even in dreams, you are a sensing creature. You are never truly apart from your surroundings. Take sound, for instance. During sleep, your ears do not close. The tiny bones in your middle ears still vibrate. The cochlea still converts airwaves into signals. And your brainstem, though quieter than in waking, remains alert to changes in sound. This is not to disturb you, but to protect you. A loud crash, an unfamiliar voice, the cry of someone you love, these can still reach you in sleep. Your brain filters sounds continuously, deciding what is safe to ignore and what must be heeded. This subconscious monitoring is why a parent might sleep through thunder but wake at the softest whimper of their child. Sleep doesn't erase, hearing it refines it. And then there is light. Your eyelids block most of it, but not all. Photoreceptors in the retina can still detect brightness even through closed eyes. This is why sunrise can gently nudge you toward waking, and artificial light at night, tertiary blue light can delays sleep onset. Your brain's circadian clock listens for light, always. It uses it to align your inner rhythm with the outer world. This is why we wake with the day and grow drowsy with night. And it's why sleeping in total darkness tends to be deeper, more restorative. Light is not just something we see, it's something we feel on a cellular, chemical level. Touch, too, plays a role. Your skin, your body's largest sensory organ, never stops feeling. Pressure, temperature, texture, these are still noticed, even if you don't consciously respond. This is why the softness of a blanket matters. Why a mattress that's too hard can stir discomfort even in unconsciousness. Why being touched gently in your sleep by a breeze, by a loved one, by warmth can sometimes drift into your dreams as softness, presence, peace. Your sleeping body is not a fortress. It is a porous, living landscape, still in conversation with the world. Even smell, though less potent in sleep, can enter the mind. A familiar scent might weave its way into your dream narrative. Lavender, often associated with calm, has been shown to subtly influence the depth and quality of rest. A sudden, sharp odor, like smoke, can jolt you from dreams. The olfactory bulb, connected directly to memory and emotion, stays half awake as you sleep, holding a gate open between safety and alertness. None of this means you are fragile. Quite the opposite. Your sleeping senses form a protective threshold between you and the world. They don't drag you into waking. They shelter you, responding only when necessary, allowing the rest of you to surrender more fully. Your brain's thalamus, the sensory relay station, filters input during sleep, quieting what is irrelevant. And your cortex, where conscious perception lives, grows dim, even as your body remains softly aware. This balance between sensing and sleeping is part of what makes rest so beautifully complete. You are not gone. You are deeply here in a different state of presence. You are a shoreline where waves arrive gently but are absorbed, not resisted. You are cradled by your own biology, held by mechanisms that have evolved not just to think and act, but to pause and receive. So tonight, notice the quiet around you, the soft hum of a distant appliance, the faintest light creeping through the curtains, the feeling of fabric against your shoulder. These are not distractions. They are part of your sleep. They form the landscape into which you sink. Let the sounds grow distant. Let the light fade to a blur behind your eyelids. Let the air rest on your skin like a whisper. Your senses are not switching off. They are settling in, and with them, so do you. You are safe. You are still. You are sleeping, but never fully gone. And in that beautiful in-between, the body does what it was made to do. It listens, it feels, it rests, and it heals. Asterisk, your body is not just guided by thoughts or rhythms, not only by breath or sensation. It is steered by invisible tides of chemistry. Molecules whisper from cell to cell, setting the pace for everything that lives within you. And when the light fades, when you grow still, a new balance begins to take shape inside you. You are not conscious of it, but your body knows what to do. It reaches for the night. It shifts its chemistry like the sea shifting with the moon. And the key to this nightly transformation lies in your hormones. Hormones are messengers, subtle, powerful, always in motion. They travel through your bloodstream, delivering instructions to every system, every tissue. While you sleep, they do not sleep. In fact, some of the most important hormonal signals rise only in darkness. They are not trying to wake you or move you. They are tending to you, balancing you, helping you recover from the day just past, and quietly preparing you for the one to come. One of the most central of these hormones is melatonin. Often called the sleep hormone, melatonin is not what makes you sleep, but it signals that sleep should come. It is produced by the pineal gland, a tiny structure deep in your brain, just above the midpoint between your eyes. Its timing is everything. Melatonin begins to rise in the evening as light fades. Your retina senses the drop in brightness and tells the suprachiasmatic nucleus, your internal clock. That clock signals the pineal gland, and melatonin begins to flow like twilight into your blood, As melatonin rises, your body begins to shift. Your temperature lowers slightly. Your metabolism slows. Your blood pressure dips. These are gentle cues, not commands. Melatonin doesn't knock you unconscious. It invites you to drift. It says, now is the time to let go, and your body listens. As you lie down and darkness surrounds you, melatonin continues to rise, peaking in the middle of the night like a tide reaching the shore. But the night is not ruled by melatonin alone. In the background, another rhythm is playing, the quiet hum of cortisol. Cortisol is often misunderstood. We hear it spoken of only in the context of stress, danger, urgency. But cortisol is also essential. It is the hormone that helps you rise, that supports your metabolism, your immune function, your alertness, and it too follows a rhythm. Cortisol levels fall as melatonin rises. In the deep center of the night, cortisol is low, giving your body space to rest and recover. But as morning nears, cortisol gently begins to climb. This rise doesn't bring stress. It brings awakening. It's a signal not to flee, not to panic, but to prepare. As melatonin ebbs, cortisol takes the stage, supporting your transition back to light, to movement, to thought. These two hormones are not enemies. They are partners in the choreography of sleep and waking. One fades as the other rises. They meet only in passing, handing you from one phase of being to another. And there are others, too. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, not just in children, but in all of us. It's a healer. It supports tissue repair, muscle recovery, and cellular regeneration. This is part of why we feel better after rest. Wounds heal faster with sleep. Muscles rebuild. Skin renews itself. These changes are not visible in the moment, but they accumulate quietly. Every night, your body also modulates leptin and ghrelin, hormones that control appetite while you sleep. A poor night's rest can throw their balance off, making you feel hungrier the next day, less satisfied after eating. Sleep and hunger are more connected than they seem. The chemistry of rest shapes the rhythm of desire. In women, reproductive hormones like estrogen and progesterone interact deeply with sleep. Their levels shift across cycles and lifespans, altering the architecture of rest in subtle ways. And in men, testosterone release is largely tied to sleep, especially early night deep sleep. Even the immune system, through chemical messengers called cytokines, follows the rhythm of rest. When you sleep, your body makes more of these protectors. It readies itself to fight infection, to guard you against illness. This is why good sleep is good defense. All of this is happening now as you lie still. Invisible messages flowing, tides of rise and fall. Nothing you have to control, nothing to force. Only the soft agreement of your body with the night. Hormones have no need for willpower. They listen to rhythm, to light, to quiet, and to you, so breathe. Let melatonin cradle you. Let cortisol step back into the shadows. Let growth and healing rise within you. You are not a machine that turns off when the day ends. You are an ecosystem that shifts its balance. You are a harmony of signals, a soft chemistry of surrender. Sleep now. The body is doing what it always knew how to do. There is a weight that gathers when sleep is lost. At first, it feels subtler, yawn that lingers, a thought that stumbles, a blink that lasts too long. But as hours stretch and nights are skipped or cut short, the effects deepen. It's not just tiredness, it's disconnection. like walking through your own life with a thin layer of fog wrapped around everything. Sounds feel too sharp or too far. Emotions swing too wide. Memory slips from your grasp, even as you try to hold on. This is what happens when the brain is starved of sleep. Doesn't simply slow down. It begins to break its rules. Your body can survive without food longer than it can without sleep. That is how essential rest is to the brain. During waking hours, neural activity generates waste metabolic byproducts that need to be cleared away. While you're awake, these substances build up like dust on a windowsill. But when you sleep, the glymphatic system opens its channels, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to wash over your brain tissue and carry these wastes away. When you don't sleep, that cleaning doesn't happen, and the longer the brain stays awake, the more cluttered it becomes, clouded by molecules it was never meant to carry for so long. But the symptoms of sleep deprivation are not just physical, they are psychological, emotional, and perceptual. One of the first things to go is attention. The brain loses its ability to filter what matters from what doesn't. You become more easily distracted. Reaction time slow. Mistakes multiply. These aren't signs of weakness, they're signals from a system under strain. Your prefrontal cortex, which helps with focus, planning, and decision-making, begins to dim. And with it, your capacity for restraint fades too. You might say something you regret. You might misread someone's face. You might forget what you meant to do even as you're doing it. Emotions become more raw. The amygdala, that small almond-shaped hub of fear and feeling, becomes more reactive under sleep loss. At the same time, its communication with the prefrontal cortex weakens. This means your feelings grow stronger, while your ability to regulate them fades. You may feel more anxious, more irritable, more sad. Things that normally wouldn't bother you suddenly pierce you. It's not just a mood, it's your brain trying to function without fuel. And then comes memory. Without proper sleep, especially deep sleep, and REM, your brain struggles to consolidate memories. The hippocampus, your memory's gatekeeper, can't sort and file information the way it's meant to. This is why cramming all night often results in forgetting the very thing you worked so hard to learn. The memory may have been formed, but it wasn't stored. Without sleep, knowledge fades like ink not yet dry. After a full day or two without rest, even reality itself starts to bend. Some people experience micro-sleeps, brief, uncontrollable lapses into sleep that lasts just seconds. You might still be sitting upright, eyes open, but your brain checks out. This is the body's last-ditch effort to preserve itself. In extreme cases, sleep deprivation can cause hallucinations, paranoia, or disorientation. The brain begins to dream while awake, and when dreams and waking life mix, confusion blooms. But even in this unraveling, the brain tries to protect you. It adapts. It reroutes energy, compensates where it can. Some areas go into overdrive, others shut down. It is resilient, resourceful, doing everything it can to carry you until you finally rest. The body will whisper, then plead, then insist. And eventually, sleep will come because it must. And when it does, the repairs begin. Even a single night of good sleep can restore much of what was lost. Attention sharpens, memory stabilizes, emotions soften. You begin to return to yourself. Because sleep is not just a pause, is your anchor. Without it, you drift. With it, you are held. So if you have ever felt that heaviness behind your eyes, that ache in your thinking, that sadness with no clear name, know that your body is not failing. It is signaling. It is asking for what it needs. and what it needs is not always more caffeine or effort or endurance. What it needs is sleep. Let that be enough tonight. Let yourself not push. Let yourself not fix. Let yourself lie still. Close your eyes and let the chemistry realign. Let the brain begin again. Let sleep restore what the day scattered. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply tired, and the answer is already inside you. Asterisk, from the moment you are born, sleep is your first companion. Before language, before memory, before even a clear sense of self, sleep carries you through the earliest hours of life. In infancy, it is not something to be earned or scheduled. It simply happens, washing over your tiny body in waves that come and go, unbothered by clocks or calendars. Newborns may sleep 16 to 18 hours a day, their brains still forming, still growing, needing the dreamlike safety of stillness more than anything else. In those early months, sleep is not just a pause, it is creation. The brain triples in weight in the first few years, and much of that growth is sculpted quietly in the dark. As you grow into childhood, sleep begins to organize itself. Bedtimes become more consistent, nights stretch longer, dreams become more vivid and memorable. The architecture of sleep takes shape: deep, slow-wave sleep in the early part of the night, REM sleep arriving later in long, drifting phases. Children need this rich tapestry of rest to support not just physical growth, but emotional regulation and memory consolidation. Learning to walk, speak, connect, all of it becomes more stable after a night of uninterrupted sleep. The child's brain is a garden in bloom, and sleep is the sunlight it cannot live without. In adolescence, sleep shifts again, often in unexpected ways. The circadian rhythm begins to drift, naturally making teenagers want to stay up later and sleep in longer. This isn't laziness, it's biology. The internal clock of a teen is delayed by 1 to 2 hours compared to adults. Yet the world often demands early wake times, school bells, alarms, expectations. This conflict between internal time and external schedule creates what scientists call social jet lag. It is why so many teens walk through mornings in a fog, trying to think clearly with a brain that is still half asleep. And yet, in this stage of life, sleep remains essential. It supports the rewiring of the adolescent brain, the strengthening of identity, and the emotional turbulence of growing up. Adulthood brings with it both structure and challenge. Sleep may become more regular, but it is also more fragile. Stress, responsibilities, schedules, screens all conspire to erode the quality and quantity of rest. Many adults get by on 6 or fewer hours a night, believing that efficiency can replace restoration, but the body cannot be tricked. Chronic sleep restriction accumulates like debt, affecting mood, memory, immunity, and long-term health. Adults still cycle through deep sleep and REM, but with age, slow-wave sleep begins to diminish. It doesn't disappear, but it grows thinner, especially after the age of 30. And so we must guard sleep more carefully, creating space, darkness, and quiet for it to unfold. In older age, sleep changes, again not worse, but different. Many older adults experience lighter sleep, more awakenings during the night, and earlier rising times. Sleep becomes more fragmented, but this doesn't always mean it's less restorative. The body adjusts. The need for sleep does not vanish, but the rhythm softens. Daytime naps may become part of the cycle. The balance between non-REM and REM shifts. Yet the importance of sleep remains. It supports cognitive function, stabilizes mood, and even helps protect against age-related conditions like memory loss or dementia throughout the lifespan. One thing stays the same: sleep adapts, but it never stops being vital. From the dreaming infant to the dozing elder, rest is the thread that connects all stages of life. It is the great equalizer, the daily reset, the quiet act of care that allows you to continue becoming yourself. It doesn't always come easily. There will be nights of restlessness, of wakefulness, of worry, but sleep will always return. It waits behind your thoughts, behind your eyes, just a few breaths away. And as you lie here now, whatever age you are, know that your sleep tonight is shaped by everything you've lived, the way you once dreamed as a child, the nights of teenage restlessness, the careful rituals of adult sleep, the wisdom of knowing at last that rest is not a reward, it's a need. Let it be enough. Let sleep come as it always has, not perfectly, but faithfully. You have grown, and sleep has grown with you. Now let it carry you again, into memory, into stillness, into peace. Everything in nature follows the path of least resistance. Rivers do not fight their banks, they curve gently around them. Light does not rush or hesitate, simply travels. Planets do not cling to gravity, they fall with it, orbiting with silent precision. And you, too, are part of this same pattern. You, too, are shaped by laws deeper than your thoughts. The quiet physics of your being is written into the night. And in sleep, you return to it not by force, not by control, but by release. Letting go is not weakness. It is alignment, with breath, with gravity, with the ancient patterns of atoms and time. Your body knows this already. It follows rhythms you do not command. Your heart slows, your temperature drops, your eyelids grow heavy. These are not failures of will, they are invitations. In every cell, in every fiber, a quiet agreement is taking place. You no longer need to hold yourself up. You can be held, and so you are. Physics tells us that all systems seek equilibrium. Left undisturbed, energy spreads out. Heat cools, tension fades. This is not decayed, is peace. This is how balance is restored. Your body, after all, its motion and effort and stimulus, seeks this too. And it finds it, night after night, in the slow drift of sleep. It is the most natural law. Everything that moves must eventually rest. Even your thoughts obey this law. They may swirl and spiral for a while, trying to make sense of the day, but eventually they too tire, like dust settling, like light fading from a sky that no longer needs it. Your neurons don't fight sleep, they prepare for it. In the dark, they switch tasks. They move from alertness to recovery, from reaction to reflection, from noise to stillness. This is not shut down. This is transition. The quantum world teaches us that at the smallest scale, particles do not simply exist, they hover between possibilities. They do not choose until they are observed. They remain suspended in potential. Sleep, too, is a suspension, not an end, not an absence, but a pause between certainties. You are not here or there. You are drifting, becoming, changing shape beneath your awareness. And that is not frightening. It is freeing, because here, in this space where thought dims and sensation softens, you are allowed to exist without doing. You are not required to be clever or productive or brave. You are allowed to simply be. Let the weight of the day melt off your shoulders. Let the tension in your jaw, your hands, your spine evaporate. Let your breath slow, not because you force it, but because it always does. You are floating now, not through space, but through quiet. Your consciousness no longer grips, it glides, and underneath it all, your body is repairing. Your mind is filing, washing, healing. Your chemistry is balancing. Your rhythms are syncing with the deeper pulse of life. Nothing is lost here. Everything is simply returning to where it belongs. You are not broken. You are becoming quiet. You are not vanishing. You are unfolding into another state. The stars outside your window obeyed the same gravity as your thoughts. The universe, vast and cold and unthinking, still gives you this moment of warmth, this breath, this heartbeat, this slow descent into stillness. The great science of rest is not in what it explains, it is in what it allows. It allows you to stop, to drift, to trust that your body knows what to do, to remember that the laws of the universe are not against you, they cradle you always. And so, now, with everything within you ready, let go, fall softly, float gently, sleep, asterisk. Now the sparks dim, not out of exhaustion, but choice. Your neurons no longer leap with urgency, they sway with rhythm. Coordinated, calm, slow, your thinking brain has stepped back. Your dreaming brain takes its place not to solve, but to drift. Sleep is not the absence of mind, it is the softest version of it. A humming, dreaming landscape lit by a few gentle signals. And now you're there, already inside it, already resting. Let them fire without force. Let your mind float on the quiet blaze of sleep.